Greetings everyone, my name is Atterville, and I welcome you all to my Let's Play of actually two games. First, I'll be playing Mega Man vs. Ghosts and Goblins, and then later, right after this, Mega Man vs. Metroid. Both games are by Staticreator, and they feature Mega Man in a crossover environment. In this game, he's going to be facing off against Arthur, but in order to get to him, he needs to go through two stages of Ghosts and Goblins. And this time I have much better controls. Z and X, thank you very much. So we can jump, shoot, slide, and use a charge shot as well. Sadly, we lose our charge upon taking a hit. It's a Mega Man 6 charge shot. So we start off in the first stage of Ghosts and Goblins. But thankfully, unlike Arthur, we start with more than 2 HP, thus making this entire experience much easier. And for once, the soundtrack of a fan game we're playing is actually good. Instead of awful MIDI tracks, we have awesome remixes. That's the strange thing. Why didn't more fan games of this time actually use MP3 soundtracks instead of the awful MIDI tracks? I mean, there were plenty of awesome remixes of old classic NES games. I'll take anything after the awful MIDI track remixes of Hard at 1. Oh, this section was painful originally as Arthur. Once I complete this game, there's something funny I want to show. Trap, we're going down over here. I wonder what would happen if you hacked the game and jumped over to the right side. Would it break the screen transition? All these enemies used to be painful to deal with. Well, maybe not all of them, but many of them. But now, as Mega Man, with his greater health bar and better firepower, they're a cinch. I don't even know what the order of the franchise games are. Which game is that in the series, Daibuman, in terms of numbering? It was Heavy Elite. I never was able to finish it. I didn't even finish that game, Metal General, and it's still ingrained in my mind. Oof, these enemies. Usually I have to jump over them. My favorite game in the series is the SNES one. I actually completed that game, but I didn't get the good ending though. Super Ghosts and Goblins, yep. Did any of you play Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins? I heard that's a more balanced experience, and currently the last game of the series. All you need to know about the Ghosts and Goblins series is that it's fiendishly difficult and unfair at several places. Here comes the first boss battle. Now imagine having to do this with only 2 HP. We're out of there, halfway done. Now onto the second stage, where this fan game starts falling apart in terms of quality in my eyes. The first half is the best part. Oh yes, the most punishing part is you have to do it again, with a not so good weapon. Need to be fast with jumping there. This is the weakest part of the stage. He would. Sadly, there wasn't a Mega Man vs. Castlevania game. And frankly, Mega Man would break most of the challenges in the classic Castlevania games. At least in Metroid and Ghosts and Goblins, you are expected to have a projectile weapon at all times, but in Castlevania, they usually require hearts and you can't spam them. Here is Arthur, armoring up. He actually has a smarter AI in terms of dodging attacks, but it's still rather exploitable. For one, he actually tries climbing up and down the ladders. He even gets knocked back by your attacks. The key to winning this fight is essentially juking him. You can use a charge shot against him, but I'd rather just use the regular buster. I find it to be more consistent. Once he goes below half his max HP, his armor gets destroyed. I knew I was gonna fail this. I accidentally fell off the ladder. Remember, this is keyboard controlled and this is one of the earlier keyboard controlled fan games, so it's a bit stiff. Should be down in 2 hits, but then it'd be really easy as Mega Man. The only issue is when he bounces backwards closer to me. Grabbing onto the ladder is surprisingly more difficult than what you expect. They're a bit too stingy in their hitboxes. The best strategy is to never get off the ladder and just keep going up and down. And randomly Mega Man decides to go turn to the left. There's probably a default value somewhere. And it's over. After one death, Arthur has been defeated. Now imagine if Arthur was this durable in his original game series. It'd be so much easier. And by defeating him, I get the Arthur Lance. And that ends this fan game. As both games were made by the same developer, they actually share a save game. If you clear Mega Man vs. Ghosts and Goblins first, you actually still keep the Arthurian Lance for Mega Man vs. Metroid 2. And yeah, Arthur's invulnerability frame time should have been shorter. It was a bit too long for this kind of boss battle. Nevertheless, time to go through Metroid and face up against Samus Aran at the end. Down into Brinstar we go. And there's the Arthurian Lance from vs. Ghosts and Goblins. I think that's also the weakness of Samus Aran, but I'm not sure. Another nice thing in this state is that we have low gravity. That's how Mega Man can reach these ledges. Oh yeah, and can't forget. Otherwise, Mega Man would not be able to reach these platforms. And it'd be easier than just having to redesign this level. You also have separate routes, I think. I wish there was a third game in this series to fill out this menu. I will eventually play Metroid soon. In fact, I may run a live stream either tonight or tomorrow where I play through the original Metroid 1, though with some tweaks added here and there. I also like how this fan game actually has multiple routes, just like in the original Metroid. Something else I want to showcase? This pit is not instant death. So many fan games get that wrong. They usually replace the mode with spikes. Now we moved on to somewhere else, a different section. I forget the name of this area. Why did it look weird? Oh, they look weird because they're reversed. Usually in classic Mega Man games, they drain from right to left, but here it's from left to right. See ya, Heavy Elite. Well, I'll make an announcement on Twitter as to when I'll do my playthrough of Metroid. It'll probably be tomorrow then. Tomorrow evening. I sure hope I'm not going backwards by accident. Yep, this is version 2. Version 1 was much more simplistic and only had one pathway if I recall correctly. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm going in circles. In version 1 of the fan game, this entire stage was much more linear, but here, it's a lot more maze-like. So essentially I just made one entire loop through the level. I took the top route, then went back down to the lower route. What I need to do is go further through the right. Remember, my first experiences of playing this game were with version 1. Seems also Mega Man has uncapped downwards acceleration. Whereas the second version of Versus Ghosts and Goblins didn't really change that much, version 2 of Metroid changes up a lot more things. There's a lot more variety in terms of the aesthetics and stage design. Also notice how most enemies deal less damage to Mega Man compared to the previous fan game. It does fit with Metroid's game design. Mother Brains to the left. We know a boss is coming, this is a red door. Instead of Mother Brain, we face off against Samus Aran. This entire second half of the stage is entirely new to me. Compared with Arthur, Samus Aran's much easier to defeat. Her pattern's a lot more exploitable. It's done, she's been defeated. Arthur had a much more reaction-based battle, but she follows her own pattern for the most part. She does have iframes, but not as much as Arthur, it seems. And we get the Samus Ice Beam by defeating her. Should be called just the Ice Beam. However, by completing both games, we also unlocked Proto Man. So that's the other secret. Also like how we can fast forward through everything now. Freezes enemies in place, and then I can use them as platforms. Sadly, there are no Metroids I can test it upon. So that marks the end of both of these fan games. They do show their age, but they are pretty fun to play with. If you enjoyed them, please rate, comment, favorite, and or subscribe, as they all help out the channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well, as I regularly post updates there. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in a future Let's Play